What are things people take way too seriously? Video games. I say this while I used to be one of those people who would rage at every death and would barely have any fun at the game unless I was winning frequently. People should just have fun while winning, but when they ultimately die they just say dang or something like that. If someone doesn't like the same things, I strongly dislike Metallica but really like 90s metal and hard rock and grunge. I have been told that I absolutely can't like metal if I don't like Metallica. People legitimately become angry if the same football team isn't liked, or if they drive a different brand truck, or don't agree about beers. Who actually fucking cares? It's just so offensive and inhumane if two people can't agree on who the best first baseman was or the best shoes to wear with a certain outfit. Their kids' sports. I used to coach an 11-12-year-old basketball team at the YMCA, and some parents take it way too seriously. We don't even keep track of their wins and everyone gets a trophy at the end of the season, yet I've seen parents ready to fight the referee over a small missed call. The refs purposely let small things go since most kids are still learning to play. Hockey parents are some of the craziest. I once volunteered working the scoreboard at a tournament as a favor to a teacher. Her husband was the coach. I was given all of 30 seconds of training on the equipment and as a result had a few hiccups in the first game. I was a few seconds late stopping the timer a couple times. Nothing unfixable. The coach had to go out on the ice several times to yell at the parents to quit screaming and cursing at me. It was a game for 3-4-year-olds who could barely stay upright on their skates. I have a list but I'll just say K-pop for now. Bands be cray, like Super Eyes Well and Cray. These idols are gonna be out of the spotlight in 3-7 years time, and some even get caught up in scandals during their peak years. I just don't get celebrating a bunch of temporary pretty faces. Sports. I was in a hotel and the guy in the next room was screaming and out of control, and obviously drunk. It was a good 10-20 minutes before we realized it was over a football game. Someone must have reported him because he flew off the handle, pounding on doors and screaming about how he was going to kill everyone in the hotel. That was bad enough that he got dragged out by the police. And it was all over a football game. Every single meaningless argument people have, like if pineapple on pizza is good or bad, if milk comes first or cereal comes first, Pepsi or Coca-Cola. It's just, why do people get so worked up over such meaningless shit? The big problem isn't people having these opinions and discussing them. The problem is people's inability to understand that other people have different opinions, and that it's okay that other people have different opinions. Why do so many people feel the need to try and argue what opinion is better? There is no reason to try and argue why pineapple on pizza is disgusting. Amazing. You can't change what someone thinks tastes good, and even if they do change their mind, does that really affect anything? It's still just a meaningless argument that changes basically nothing. So please just accept that other people have other opinions and just move on. Following big sports, especially football. Why do grown men and women identify with millionaires that in most cases aren't even from the same country, employed by billionaires or big corporations and organized by corrupt companies so strongly that they would get violent with other men who happen to follow a different group of millionaires, just because they have a different city or county in their team's name? I get being invested in your school's sports team or the club from a small town if you have some sort of personal connection, but major leagues, it's incredibly stupid. Versus threads. I've seen people seething with eye-popping rage at each other on the topic of whether or not Saitama can beat Superman/Goku. It should be a fun mental exercise that serves as a platform for discussing one's favorite shows, but it only takes about 2 or 3 comments to devolve into a dick-measuring contest where people are willing to die on the hill of being objectively right and everyone who thinks otherwise being a moron, and not being shy of being vocal about it. Gender reveals. Almost no one actually gives a fuck that your baby is female or male, but families make parties out of it, and it has gone so fucking far that fires started happening, mainly the California fires. You don't need to make this huge party just for something that should be just normally announced to the people who need to know, like WhatsApp family or something. People that have to be right and just won't let it go. People who correct other people's spelling and grammar on social media are the most irritating people. We are on social media trying to relax and have fun, and here come the grammar and spelling police. Adults that are so competitive and try and beat children at board games. My ex did this and it was awful. Sports, any league, in the long run, it's meaningless and has zero impact on society or the world at large. Yet people are willing to bet their entire life savings on sporting events. People have been killed for not making important goals or baskets. When I go to a baseball game, I go because I like the stadium and the hot dogs. I barely even pay attention to the game. I couldn't tell you if the home team won or not, and I don't care. In my country, it's sports, football, soccer in particular. They turn it into a religious thing and fight or argue with each other non-stop, but every single one of them are pathetic if you ask me. I don't mind someone enjoying a game of sports, but the second you start believing it has anything to do with religion or politics or vandalize property, you can fuck off. Group games such as beer die, spikeball, etc. Some people just don't understand how to enjoy a game without winning every match. Yes, winning is nice, but don't lose your mind because your partner is having a bad game and complain about you having to carry everyone. Sports. I was in a hotel and the guy in the next room was screaming and out of control, and obviously drunk. It was a good 10-20 minutes before we realized it was over a football game. Someone must have reported him because he flew off the handle, pounding on doors and screaming about how he was going to kill everyone in the hotel. That was bad enough that he got dragged out by the police. And it was all over a football game. Their ancestry. My great-grandfather immigrated from Scotland, so I'm Scottish TE. My great-grandfather was a stonemason. Doesn't make me one. Obviously there are exceptions. For some people their ancestry is a vital part of their culture and an important aspect of their life, but for a lot of North Americans of European ancestry, their great-great-granddaddy's nationality is way too big a part of their personality. Online gaming. I game daily. It's my favorite hobby and I would be devastated if I couldn't do it. However, some people get so mad about losing and it is ridiculous. The game carries literally no weight in your real life. Stop being an asshole to people just because you aren't winning. I get it. I've gotten any over losing before, but I've never taken it out on anyone, called them names, or told them to kill themselves over it. FYI, if you're losing every game then maybe it's you that sucks, not your teammates. Online games. If you say that this person is bad at gaming, he or she will get mad and start trash talking. I get it. We are all noobs at times, but can people just accept the fact that they are bad as PvP? Another thing people take too seriously is when you pronounce their name incorrectly. My best friend got mad at me for this. The labels they project onto themselves and others to feel like they're a part of something unique. Just be you, dude. You don't have to label shit. Personally, I find it more relaxing the less others know about me. I don't have anything to hide. I just don't like sharing because as soon as someone sees you as something, they expect that out of you, and I don't like anything to be expected of me. I just like to do whatever I feel like doing, and being perceived as an average person on the surface who becomes more ambiguous the deeper you try to dig. I just take great comfort in the certainty of being perceived as an uncertainty, and I don't understand people who limit themselves to a singular label they deem themselves as, because to me all that does is shut you out of new perspective of perceptions you can gain. The only certainties that I will commit to though are my love holes and shit and playing games just for the fun of it, but if you try to make it a non-friendly, overly aggressive competition, I will instantly lose interest in you and the game. The experience is on different roller coaster. When some enthusiasts compare coasters like Diamondback or Slinky Dog Dash to Steel Vengeance, the first two are considered boring and having very pointless airtime, when in fact Diamondback is a great ride with amazing floater airtime, while Slinky Dog Dash is just meant for families of all ages and not for these elitists wanting to be constantly ejected out of their seat over and over on a ride like Steel Vengeance. Politics. Unnecessary debates have become way too common. Love life/breakups/divorces of famous people. Seriously, how TF does it even matter to you? Pornography. This content is consumed at really sickening levels by the present youth. Bullshit. Religion. Fighting over religion and trying to forcefully/cleverly convert people defeats the very purpose of religion. The concept of racial identity up to the point where their ethnic background pretty much is 90% of how they define themselves, and then go on to do the same with other ethnic groups, generalizing millions of people and therefore creating more division on our planet. I couldn't care less where I am from, not that I don't like my culture and my people, it's just that at the greater scheme of things it really doesn't matter how I happen to be born. I can think outside of the capacities my cultural and ethnic backgrounds create and view the world and its inhabitants equally as capable of doing so. I hate nothing more than restricting myself in my thoughts and emotions I am allowed or supposed to feel based on whatever social structures I am confronted with deem fit. I'm not saying that upbringing, surroundings, people and societies don't have an impact on who we are. I am saying that I don't have to allow all these things to control myself more than I would want to, subconsciously or not. But the reality is that most people are not able to see past all these limitations but think they are truly free in their thinking when they are subconsciously influenced by everything. I want to become aware of all these influences in order to filter out which ones are tolerable and which ones are not as important to me, finding myself as I might have thought. Some video games, particularly those that are free to play, online, and cooperative and competitive in nature, they're basically filled with psychological tricks to get you to spend impulsively for them, ranging from paywalls to hard-to-get items. Even those that are said to be cosmetics only for a app aren't really free of those psychological tricks because of basically FOMO for them. Personally, I don't play any freemium games seriously compared to, say, premium console games. I know freemium games either get paywalls eventually or shut down servers eventually anyway. Sports. I get it. You love sports and you have a lot invested in your team, but some fans get downright tribal about it. People have been battered for wearing the wrong shirt in the wrong place. People have died. Moving on from that, kids' sports. Jesus Christ. Parents and coaches need to stop being psychos. Religion. It's more or less an abstract idea that makes people believe in something that is more than likely not there to begin with, although it can help people through tough times. But there are so many types out there, and certain groups of followers of the religion hate others just because they believe in something else. It's honestly really crazy to think about, and the lengths people go to believe or not to believe honestly doesn't make much sense to me. Twitter. I do not understand the point of the text-to-speech news articles. 30 posts new pic, gorgeous, declares the internet. 30 posts cryptic message, or Ziz gets dragged by her fans, and then posts screenshots of these random faceless people writing generic stuff in the comments section. Reddit. People get worked up over what others say on Reddit. It's really dumb. Like, who TF really cares? Also, when people freak out when someone just generally disagrees with them, like, just stop talking. No need to take it personally that not everyone believes the same things as you. Keyboards. I'm sorry, but holy shit, some of them are just insane. They build a new keyboard every 2 months. They oil and grease their keyboards like every 3 weeks, telling the difference between all the types of switches. and I can't even recall the switches I have in my keyboard. All that just to watch videos and occasionally type. Then there is me who has a 1-year-old Razer keyboard that I haven't cleaned once and I use basically daily. Keyboards, I'm sorry, but holy shit, some of them are just insane. They build a new keyboard every 2 months. They oil and grease their keyboards like every 3 weeks, telling the difference between all the types of switches, and I can't even recall the switches I have in my keyboard. All that just to watch videos and occasionally type. Then there is me who has a 1-year-old Razer keyboard that I haven't cleaned once and I use basically daily. I mean life in general, everyone running around making a big deal out of everything, but they don't stop to think about the big picture. That big picture being that this entire planet, solar system, galaxy amounts to exactly nothing and the universe could give a fuck about us or any of our petty bullshit, but it won't because that's how insignificant we are. Anyway, what I'm saying is do what you want. Do what makes you happy because in the end the universe will just keep on expanding and our sun will swallow the planet and none of this will make a tiny little shit fuck of a difference. Keyboards, I'm sorry, but holy shit, some of them are just insane. They build a new keyboard every 2 months. They oil and grease their keyboards like every 3 weeks, telling the difference between all the types of switches, and I can't even recall the switches I have in my keyboard. All that just to watch videos and occasionally type. Then there is me who has a 1-year-old Razer keyboard that I haven't cleaned once and I use basically daily. Keyboards, I'm sorry, but holy shit, some of them are just insane. They build a new keyboard every 2 months. They oil and grease their keyboards like every 3 weeks, telling the difference between all the types of switches, and I can't even recall the switches I have in my keyboard. All that just to watch videos and occasionally type. Then there is me who has a 1-year-old Razer keyboard that I haven't cleaned once and I use basically daily. I mean life in general, everyone running around making a big deal out of everything, but they don't stop to think about the big picture. That big picture being that this entire planet, solar system, galaxy amounts to exactly nothing and the universe could give a fuck about us or any of our petty bullshit, but it won't because that's how insignificant we are. Anyway, what I'm saying is do what you want. Do what makes you happy because in the end the universe will just keep on expanding and our sun will swallow the planet and none of this will make a tiny little shit fuck of a difference. My friends take Secret Santa way too seriously. We can't do it the traditional way because apparently the person holding the hat with the names in will know who got them. Don't ask me why, I still don't understand that logic. Apparently the only way to do it so no one knows who got who is some complicated method using everyone's email address. I know it's like 5 months until Christmas, but this year I'm in charge of Secret Santa and we're not going to take it so seriously. Fireworks on 4th of July. Some people love them too much and blow themselves up. Some people are obnoxious whiny killjoys who don't understand that there's a difference between intelligent acknowledgement of safety with risks being intelligently covered and monitored, and the person in my area last month, yes, last month, for some reason, who blew his arm off by building fireworks on his own. I know this is a hot topic today specifically, but please, for the love of fuck, have the common sense to not think that it's ever an absolute their bank account stash. You are an individual that is worth more than what your bank account says. Yearly income and its associated social class also don't determine your worth as a human. Life can be rich in experience, completely fulfilling, and entirely enjoyable without the pursuit of currency and generational wealth, and you don't owe it to anyone to seek out that lifestyle. It also isn't wrong to desire nicer things or to spoiling oneself. Don't worry about the experiences you can't afford, and enjoy what you have. Try not to let your bank account or debt embarrass or intimidate you. It's just a symptom of your circumstances, in which we each uniquely have our own. We each try our best to play the hand we were dealt in life. Often that involves our financial statuses being lower than others, and is just a facet of life that is certain and almost destined for some. Don't make the mistake of wiring your mind around making the most money, especially if it truly doesn't manage to bring yourself happiness.